Hello, creative people. I have a keychain like all of us do, and mine's a Vera Bradley one, and I really did like it, but you can see I use it a lot and it's starting to fray. So, uh, I'm retired, and while this is a beautiful print and it matches stuff, I'm just going to make my own. So, I thought I'd show you what I'm going to do. So if you need to measure it, I measured this. It's roughly about 19 inches. The one I kind of played with here that I made, I'm going to show you how I do it. I have all the pieces over here. Is roughly 19, so it's like an inch short. No big deal. So I'm going to put that off to the side. So you could just measure it and then maybe give yourself an extra. This looks like an inch to fold stuff over. I'm going to show you how to do all that. So first thing you might want to do, and I hate doing this because like I said, I really do love my Vera Bradley, but I gotta get a bigger scissors, so hang on a second. Let me see if I can even get this in here. Ugh, it's a tough one to get in, but it's been washed. I've tried washing it, as many times as possible. Whoops. And there's nothing left of this thing, so I think I can get this in here with my little scissors. So there it is. The hardware is still good. There's nothing wrong with this, and this is kind of expensive when you buy it, especially because it has her name on it. So this is just going to be one of mine, but this really was worth all the money I spent for it. I got some good use out of it, but now I need a new one. So I'm just going to leave it here and show you what I did. So I cut some fabric that I had. I'm a veteran, if you didn't know, so I thought this would be kind of cool for me and very appropriate. I cut this at 2.5 inches wide. Okay. Probably I do this different, again, like everybody else. I do what works best for me. So I cut this at 2.5 inches wide. It's approximately, well, let me do a really quick thing here. Let's see, that's 15. I think it's about 20 something inches. It's 30. Okay, it's longer than that. So 34. It's 34 inches long, okay, and I didn't have a piece long enough, so I seamed it and then I ironed it. When I ironed it open, I also took this and I folded it in half and I ran the iron over it, so I would have a nice crease up here for the next part. And the next part involves me being able to locate that seam right there, that crease, and I have some Pellon. It's real thick. It's interfacing. This one was from another project, but it was just sitting around not doing anything. So it's sticky on one side. It's iron on. So if you wanted to iron it, you could. I'm going to stitch it down, so I don't really need to iron it. And you want to lay it right next to that seam or that pressed line. I'm going to put a link in there. I'm an Amazon affiliate, so I'm going to put a link in there for these cute little clips. You see them all over the place. I never thought I would buy them. But sometimes when you're doing something like this, the clips are better than the pins because it covers more area. It makes it easier. So I'm going to fold this in so I don't have to worry about this raw edge. I'm going to fold this piece down towards the middle, and I'm going to fold it one more time. And this is where you would normally stick a pin in there. I mean, you could stick a pin in there, but that's, to me, is much faster. And it holds it a little bit better. So I'm going to make sure that I have this in the middle, and I'm just going to continue all the way down. And if you press it, this is 100% cotton because that's all I use. It just holds it better. When you get to this part, you want to make sure that your seams are flat and press it in there because this can be a thick piece if you don't pay attention to the seam. And just because, I'm going to stick another one over there. All right, when I get to the end here, now if you notice, my piece isn't very long. Like I said, I use scraps. I'm a big scrapaholic. So I'm going to grab another piece and I'm going to overlay it just a little bit, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and continue my folding. But right where I have that piece, which was right about here, that's where I'm going to stick my next clip, just so that I know that when I start pulling on this end over here, that it's not going to move on me. All right, so I'm just going to continue to fold down. It's not going to take me very long to do this. I make ID badges, so these go pretty quick. Now that I've got the format, you take as much time as you need. Like I told you before, I tend to work fast. I think I told my friend that I once worked in a sweatshop factory in another life. Okay, so we'll finish doing this. I'll add my other piece here. And again, it's just about, I don't know, 1/2 inch overlay. And you're going to have some left over on the end over there, and that's perfectly acceptable. We'll cut that off. And then I'll put another clip here. That one looks pretty good. And then I'll just continue all the way down. Let's see. Clip this one and put it in half by folding it inside. You don't have to worry about any raw edges sticking out of it. And we are all set. You can go ahead and clip the excess off, and that goes in the trash pile. Then when you start sewing it, it will change that up for you. So, oops, you know what? Let me pause this and put a new bobbin in. Okay, I didn't realize my bobbin was so low. All right, so I start on the open end first, so I'll pull that off and sew it down. Guess I didn't have my foot on the gas all the way. It's a lot easier to pull these off and sew it all the way down. I have dark thread in this. I don't have a light blue. I just didn't have it, so. And again, sew at your own pace. I do sew kind of fast. And then I have it in a little container, so they're great. I'll put the link in when I post the video. And then I just really sew down the other side just to like hold it in place. Okay, and then I clip my threads, and there it is. It's done. Doesn't take very long at all. Now the fun begins, because now we're going to take the piece and we're going to put the hardware in here and hold the hardware. Now her strap was a little bit thinner than mine, so I'm going to fold it so that it fits in there a bit. And I always have to stop and think how to do this, because I do this with my other pieces. And I don't think I like the looseness of this. So what I think I'm going to do is put this piece on here and then fold this back to this. And then I like to make sure that my piece is flat, so that when I sew them together like this, they come even at the end right here. All right, so now I have to stop and think how I do this, because it takes me a minute. So you want to fold it over, and you want to fold it so that the pieces fall into each other. Just like that, so that there's no seam allowance to it, because this seam is going to get caught, if it would stop moving on me, when I fold it in, and then I'm going to fold it in again, so the raw edges will be in here. But the trick is, I also have to get this thing up here, the hardware. So I'm going to put it so that those two pieces are even. I'm going to fold it down, And this is where you'll lose an inch if you don't have it measured out right. So this is going to wind up being a little shorter, but it's for me. Not that fussy. And now here's my piece, and this will eventually work its way up to the top up here. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is make sure that all the pieces are inside here. All the raw edges are tucked in. And then you're just going to sew this very slowly to grab all the pieces to it. And you're just going to go back and forth to hold it down. And I'm not going to go really fast because you can see how my machine is taking it really slow. And if you feel brave and you want to go backwards and use the backwards button, go right ahead. I feel more confident going this way. You can hand crank it if you wanted to. And I can tell by going slow that I've hit like a hard spot. So I'll move it a bit, and you really can't go fast with this. If you do, you'll wind up breaking your needle and your machine. And I'm just going to go back and forth as many times as I can. And again, that one didn't quite go all the way, so I'll lift it up and I'll move this. And that's the end of that one. That'll hold it in place. And because I don't like this piece sticking out here, I'm going to also come around and I'm going to sew it down up here. It took me a minute to figure out how she was doing this. Now she's got, and by she I mean Bear Bradley, they have big industrial machines to do this on. I just have my little home sewing machine, but it can be done. But when you get to this part, you just can't be in a rush. Now I'm sewing over less fabric, so it's going a little bit better. And like I said, this is for me. I'll do it one more time. Maybe. All right, let's try it again. Oops. Didn't like that one. Okay. And then it should be, clip my threads, let that one go. And there you have it. I have a new keychain band and it's secured in there. It's not going anywhere. And if you wanted to, you can put it on, I could have put this piece in here with it, but it just seemed kind of crazy because I have a big D-ring that I attach to my keys here, so I'll just loop it through there. And there's my new keychain replacement. Doesn't take long at all. And I'll put that link in for these amazing clips. All right, have a great day.